Man, what's up? What's up, man? What's going on? What's going on? Just getting with you guys today. It's cold. It's hell right now. I'm in Chattanooga. It's hot. I mean, it's cold. My bad. It's cold. Um, it's kind of freezing a little bit last night. Um, but yeah, I definitely just want to just come back on here. I really want to just shine a little bit of light what's going on. But let's really get to the focus. Kansas City, Missouri. The other side of St. Louis. Now I've been to both places multiple times. Been into the city of both places as well. Been to up and down Missouri also. So Missouri is nothing really new. It's very familiar to me. But I will say things that I kind of know there is some racial I mean, I can't say racial division, but there's something of a racial reality over there. Nobody, like a lot of people really don't know, but Missouri is a Confederate state. It's not a Southern state. It's actually a Northern state, but it's actually part of the Confederacy. Um, that's why I said, you can't put a generalization on the South and a generation of the North. If you even go back up the North to West Virginia was actually a Union state in definition. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still mad racism everywhere. Mad racism in the North, the South, the West, whatever. But as like federations or whatever, sovereignties, type of entities, that really don't matter. It crisscross. But yeah, Missouri has slavery. And the reason why they let Missouri have slavery, and it was actually deemed North, was St. Louis at the time was a real heavy port. It was an inland port, but it was a very heavy port. And there was a lot of actually slave trading going on up there. That's why I will say slave trading um, was just popping still. It wasn't a ban. The only thing was banned was direct line to Africa. That was it. From the Caribbean or even within the United States, it was still going on. You know what I'm saying? So they just really just want to just drop a little bit of that into it with the with Missouri state of existence was at that time and when it was. Now St. Louis is like almost like a chocolate city. When you got Kansas City, it's kind of not fairly, but it's still got a huge white population there. But they got a lot of influx of Hispanics and stuff going up there as well. But Kansas City, man, it's kind of controversial because there was a voting that got override, and they're removing a Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. All right, let me go and back this up. All right, I'm gonna butcher it. There was a street called Paseo, like Paseo. It's actually Hispanic. It's actually named derived from another boulevard in Mexico City. So it was a street that the city was going to change. It was like a 10-mile stretch of the city of the parkway. So it's a boulevard, but it's like a parkway. The parkway spans at least 20 to 30 miles. Goes zigzag. It goes basically all the way to downtown, and it goes basically all the way to it goes almost all the way to their loop. I think their loop is like 470 or something like that. I know 70 goes through there. I think it's like 470 or something like that. But um, it goes up from the loop all the way to downtown Kansas City. Now there's a stretch of that we're going to turn to MLK because it's a black neighborhood there. The black neighborhood there is actually have historic implication because blacks been living in that area since the 1920s, so that's almost 100 years. But previously, before that, blacks were living there as well during that time. I'm talking about like the early 1900s. So it goes, really, it goes all the way to almost basically like the early start of the 1900s. So there's a historic ties to that particular the area. So they were going to change that to MLK. I thought that was cool because, as what I know of, Kansas City, Missouri is the only city in America that do not have any streets that is named after Martin Luther King Jr. So they went on and voted. The community brought it to the council. The council did basically like a council vote on it, because basically this was basically almost like this is more of a community bringing it up. You know what I'm saying? Well, the majority of the population wasn't really acting on it until they voted on, the council voted on it, and it got the name changed. That's when everything took a turn. You had mass protests. You actually had them gather a petition. Now the petition, I think, is low to me. It's real low to me, but it's what it is. Now the petition is, I think you need at least 1,700 signatures for the city council to go back and put a citywide voting, not just within, not just like an actual voting for the council, but a citywide election, like a referendum, basically what it was. And so the people call this, say, Save Paseo. Now, but Paseo, the whole street is not going to be turned to MLK. They were just going to just name that particular part of Paseo to MLK, to going through the black area, because going through the black area, you know what I'm saying? So they went on and pretty much they did a protest. They forced the city council to do a citywide. They actually orchestrated. Now the other people that protested this, a lot of them do not live on the street. That, I think some of them found out, a lot of the protesters don't even live on the street. So there's no reason for them to even be that concerned. But they said it's more historic. It's a historic ties. It's a landmark. So you know myself, as a historian I am, I looked up and said, okay, who's the creator of this? All right. I got this guy, August Meyer. Now, from what I know of him, doing research on him, the guy is the son of a German immigrant that immigrated around the mid 1800s, because he was born in 1851. He became big. He became big on the mining, but his family got a manufacturing business. I think it was textiles and certain things with steel making. So he was already profiting, pretty wealthy, and they acquire a huge amount of wealth through this. So he became a president of the park and creation of the streets. So he was basically redesigning the city of Kansas City at that time. Well, at the time there was a huge, because where they was going to put it was going to go right through a predominantly black community, a very doing black community. Actually, this black community was actually thriving. He and another partner of him decided to put this road, or this huge boulevard, right through that area. So not just working with the people. No, they didn't work with the black citizens of, okay, or get their input of where they're gonna put this road. They just went on and sent orders to evict everybody in that community where that road is going through. So that was basically in the 1900s, and that was an early form of gentrification. You know what I'm saying? Blacks did not return back to that area until about 1920, about 20 years after. But it was already in a way kind of starting to get run down. The city was, I don't know, was already kind of in the economic. I don't know. I don't think it was a black fault. Blacks was just starting to move back in that area, but the crime was already crime ridden. So there was a lot of things going on: gambling, prostitution, narcotic, whatever, all that. Now, I've been to that street. That street is kind of like the hood. I mean, it's not getting justified now. I mean, if you go back there and you get closer, I forgot what the street is, but if you get closer, like you're going toward downtown, there is like a little a boulevard you have to cross. And when you cross that boulevard, that's when everything is like you got all these nice, expensive stores and everything coming out. So the gentrification of that street is already happening, and I think they're pushing eastward. So it's 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 going to happen again to the ADUS community in that area, like they did the first time in the 1900s when they put the goddamn boulevard on there. But you had a huge coalition of people, basically there did a silent protest. They wanted to go to the church. Oh, I don't know why they picked the black church, but they said because that church was the reason why was the main reason of campaigning for the MLK sign. So they all came to the church. You had a coalition of all different types of group of people. You had some coons there. That's why I say coons are dangerous to ADUS. Coons are dangerous to just black people, period. You know what I'm saying? So they had a little coalition going on. So I made a couple statements. I said white supremacy is a coalition. It's not just a belief system. It's not just a way. It's a way of life and a way of state of mind and state of being. But it's also a state of alliance. It's a coalition. You know what I'm saying? And when they were showing the protesters, they're Hispanic. They're people from the Hispanic community, people from the Asian communities. You had some white people. Um, unfortunately, you had some black people in there. I mean, you had all different types of people fighting this MLK uh, not to be, uh, not the street to be named MLK. A lot of pushback, and they reversed it, but they changed it to a citywide election. Now, Kansas City is still majority white. It's not all the way white. I think the black population is like, I think 30%, 35%. Hispanics is like 10, 15%. And whites is like still a majority, almost 50%, 55%. So, when they switched it to a citywide, you gave basically everybody a chance to vote on it. And they said hell no to it. So I, that lets you know what things are going on around the country. That's just one glimpse of what's going on. But there's many battles that need to be fought. And like I said, it's not just white supremacy is a coalition, it's an island. Especially if it's going towards black people or ADUS, they are going to put some things to the side and they are going to commence the battle. That's what it is. So, like I said, man, to us, that's a blow. That's a blow to the ADUS. I mean, it's a blow to the ADUS community in Kansas City, but it's a blow to me and all ADUS in the United States, because hey, I mean, shit, they had the name change, and they just came back and just overturned that with the quickness. That was less than 2 weeks. I think they changed it like a month ago. They finally went back and changed it back now. So very quick, swift reaction to them. What we're seeing. But yeah, I just really want to just bring it to light what's going on. And this ain't oh yeah, shout out. We had a couple ADUS judge in Columbus, Ohio. She won her election and became a federal judge. So I mean, we're doing some things. Hopefully, she will, she will do things right, man. She won't sway to the higher power. Like I said, as long as you got the backing of your people, you should not take heed to no other foreign power because you got the backing of your people. But I'm gonna like I said, I'm gonna let you guys go. Um, like I said, the article is on the NBC News article, so definitely check it out. If you guys want to see it, I definitely got it on my Instagram page. Follow me on Big Bird, or you can follow me on Twitter, Brandon S, AGS Houston. And man, like I said, man, we're gonna keep it going. All right, one.